slap it in for old
Oh yeah,
time's sake?
let's do it. On 3, 1, 2.
Nailed it as usual. Welcome back to Absolutely the Best Podcast, a work in progress, brought to you by Carlos Jr. I'm Zach, and with me today is my good friend George.
Hey.
This is Series 1, Episode 26, and today we're talking about Spider-Man Far From Home from July 2nd, 2019. After we discuss the movie, we'll figure out where to place it in our MCU movie ranking and our mission to figure out which one is absolutely the best. As a reminder, we assume the listener has seen the movie before, and of course, there will be spoilers. And I wanted to say one thing up top real quick. We got one more 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, so thank you to whoever that was. I'm not sure when it happened.
Was it me?
Might have been. I don't know, but I check every once in a while, and it went up by one. So I was like, cool. Love it.
I'm not the guy that ever voted for himself in the student council, so.
But did you get elected?
Did a few times.
Oh, all right. Did you want to start with the movie memories, or would you like me to? I don't remember who did it last time. Doesn't really matter to me.
I'll go just because you usually because you keep the stabs. Because you keep the movie stubs, you seem to have a stronger memory of things. And going after you, I feel like a letdown sometimes. And this one I think is pretty easy. Like I think I remember being super excited for it because it is coming right after Endgame when Tony died. And just
spoiler alert.
Tom Holland's such a. I was right. Spoiler alert. And Tom Holland's just such a great Spider-Man. I've loved the heart he brings to Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Also, I think seeing it again this time around and knowing Tom Holland and Zendaya actually got together is just kind of cute because it's just like, oh yeah, hey, like they really were starting to really like each other, and I can't tell if they were falling for each other in the movie or like around the same time, but like the interactions between them is just feels more genuine knowing where they are now and stuff.
They're still together, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Good for them.
He just released his own non-alcoholic beverage too.
Oh, nice.
The guy seems like a stand-up guy, so the both of them do.
Yeah, they're both stand-up guys.
All three of them.
Since you said Ned, I wanted to actually ask you. I was going to ask you later, but I was trying to figure out where to fit it in.
Yeah.
In or where did I have my notes? Oh, in Infinity War, you said that you hope Jacob Batalon, is that what's pronounced? You hope that Jacob Batalon gets royalties for being the best Ned. And it didn't occur to me until I was listening to the published episode. Is Ned from the comics? Because there's not another Ned in the movies, right?
I don't even remember.
Okay. As far as I know, he's the only Ned, but I don't know.
There might have been. I know Flash. There really was a Flash Thompson,
right?
And in the comic books, he's like kind of a jock kind of guy, and he becomes like one of the Venom variants actually.
Flash does,
he becomes Venom.
Okay,
because Venom actually leaves Eddie Brock at some point and then bonds with Flash.
Poor Eddie Brock.
But yeah, I mean he becomes like in the comic books he becomes like near God level, but that's like another storyline.
So I think I'm going to get into this also a little bit later. I think I don't think I'm a comic book guy. I mean, I know I'm not a comic book guy because I don't read comic books. I don't think I'm a comic book movie guy. And that's my whole thing with the MCU is that I love it that so many of them are good and I should not like them. And so it does not surprise me that most of the DC movies and a lot of Sony stuff, I can't stand it. It's not worth my time.
But I think this just goes back to this basic storytelling, though. You know what I mean? Like, I think you and I were talking about Mysterio the other day and how, like, Mysterio's a dorky ass character in the comic books. Like, he's just this guy that becomes an illusionist. And then over here, it's just like, oh, so he became an illusionist because he's got these projectors that project holograms.
Right.
Like, I was like, I can buy that. And it's such a cool... Like it's basically Jake Gyllenhaal running around with a motion capture suit.
Yes,
right.
They didn't have to. Wait, did they have to do computer generated motion capture suit
on his motion capture suit? I don't know.
For me, like the Venom movies, for example, and a lot of the DC movies, it's just like, oh, there's all this action. Isn't that cool? And like, it's not enough for me. It's got like, there's got to be more of a movie there. It's got to make some kind of sense. And yeah,
Right.
the MCU pushes it too far sometimes, or sometimes it's just a piece of shit. But most of the time, I like it. That, you know, there is action, but there's also story and there's good characters, and I gotta
Right.
have something more to it.
You're
So-
not getting stuff like, oh, your mother's name's Martha. My mother's name's Martha. Did we just become best friends?
Oh man.
I'll always hate that scene.
Yes. But anyways, my movie memories.
Yes.
I saw it twice in the theaters, which kind of became a thing because I would go and see it. I would be in a hurry to see it on my own, and then I would see it again later with my wife, which is what happened here. I saw it about a week after opening. I remember liking it, but I didn't like it as much as the first Spider-Man movie.
It's hard.
Sequels are always hard. I mean, I think we've discussed that only Captain America has managed to improve.
And in the MCU,
yeah,
I think you're right.
Yeah,
Winter Soldier is the only one that kind of outpaces the first.
Right, and then Civil War is better than Winter Soldier. Yeah. I am not expecting. What's the new one going to be called? New World Order, Brave New World. Used to be called New World Order. And I guess they thought better of that name. I'm not expecting that to be better than even the first Captain America, but it does look good. Yeah. Anyways, the first time I saw it in the theater, I took a pee-pee break right after the lava monster fight where Beck is talking to Peter in the bar.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like
it's a big part of it.
It seemed like a perfectly safe place to leave for a few minutes, right? All the action wound down, right?
Right.
And when I came back, it was like near the end of the big reveal, like just as he had... just as the illusion was letting up, right? So I obviously picked a bad time to go. So what was I saying?
Yeah, seriously, of all the times in that movie to go, you picked
probably the worst time.
Yeah.
So yeah, regarding the illusion tech, I have some problems with it, obviously, and we'll get into that.
Yeah.
And this rewatch, it's not as good as I remembered, but it's far from a bad movie. Normally, I would watch with commentary as well, but there's none available. Thanks, Sony. They don't want to put the money into having a commentary track.
Right.
And I don't know if you watched any of the extras, but I did watch those, and like, man, none of that landed for me. It was all the extras were duds. It was all deleted scenes that I was glad they were deleted and stuff. What were some of?
Are we going to go over it later? But like,
not really.
I feel like I might have seen them, but I don't remember. Was there any that almost landed?
I don't know. A lot of it was like extra dialogue from the teachers who are, Mr. Harrington, and I don't remember the other guy's name currently, but they're funny in this movie the way that it's cut. But there was like just a lot of them like riffing or like extended scenes, alternate takes, and I was just like, man, this is there's a reason this is on the cutting floor.
Yeah.
So what was I saying? Oh, so I guess that's it on that.
Did the wifey like it?
Yeah, I think so. She's a little less critical than I am. So let's get into the credits. Spider-Man Far From Home is the 23rd movie in the MCU series. It's the same writers and directors as Homecoming, which is Chris McKenna and Eric Summers as the writers and John Watts as the director. I don't think we need to really go into them again. We've already discussed them. Same for most of the main characters. It's almost exactly the same cast as the first one, minus a couple of people. Like there's no Michael Keaton, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're adding in Nick Fury. I don't think he was in the first one.
He wasn't.
Which is Samuel L. Jackson and Maria Hill, played by Colby Smulders, and Talos.
Or was it?
Yes, exactly. We'll get into that. And Talos is in this as well, just very briefly at the end. Not even the end. That's more of a cameo, I guess I would say. And that's Ben Mendelsohn. So, as far as new characters go, we have Quentin Blake, a.k.a. Mysterio, played by Jake Gyllenhaal. Mysterio is another superhero, but not really. Spoiler alert, he's a bad guy. I like Jake Gyllenhaal in pretty much everything I've seen him in. You're shaking your head. You don't like him?
No, I
Or-
like him a lot.
Oh, that's
He's actually one of my favorite actors in that whole generation. Yeah, I was a big fan of his. Donnie Darko was
Yeah.
probably one of my favorite movies.
that's
also,
the first thing I've seen of his, and that's a pretty good movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen Prisoners with him and Wolverine? What's his face?
Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
I have not.
It's
It's pretty
it's
good.
a rough watch, but it's a good movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's probably his best role.
He gets a lot of shit for the whole Taylor Swift thing too,
What Taylor Swift thing?
because he used to date Taylor Swift. That whole
I didn't
"All
know
Too
that.
Well" song is about it. Is
Oh.
about him.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I'm
So
not-
it's a good song.
I'm not in the Taylor Swift fan club like you are.
You're missing out, man.
And then the only other really new character we have is JB Smoove as Julius Dell.
Was he in the first one?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure he was not.
Am I having one of those
Mandela effect moments.
yeah. I was like,
You're welcome to
what?
Google it.
no, I'll take your word for it.
He's well, it's I guess I could just cut this whole part out if he was in the first one.
Right.
I'll find out. We'll find out in
You're gonna have
editing.
to.
If you're listening to this, I was correct. So he's another teacher at the school, chaperoning the trip. He's pretty funny. I don't know if I've seen him in anything else before other than like his stand-up comedy.
Not Curb Your Enthusiasm. The other one.
Oh, he wasn't in Curb?
No, it was Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
With,
As soon as you said it, it clicked.
What's his face? Larry
David.
Yeah, Larry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into the main discussion, brought to you by Carl's Jr. In Ixtenco, Mexico, Nick Fury and Maria Hill respond to a call about a cyclone with a face. Mysterio shows up just before some big rock monster comes up from the ground. And then Mysterio says, "You don't want any part of this," and blasts some green beams from his arms. And that's our cold opening.
I gotta admit, it was a good entrance, and I totally thought that, hey, they're turning Mysterio into a good guy in the MCU. I didn't see that coming.
So is he a bad guy in the comics?
He's a bad guy in the comic.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It's interesting, double interesting then, because they had you fooled.
They totally did.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the, I was gonna say in the beginning, is like, this movie has so many like gotchas that I didn't see coming, you know? I thought that was one of the parts I liked.
Yeah, I liked the opening. I thought it was good, and it definitely piques your curiosity.
Yeah.
Then we go to Peter's high school. It's been 8 months since the blip, which is what the kids are calling it. I guess everybody's calling it that. When everyone vanished when everyone who vanished from the snap was brought back 5 years later. I like within the MCU, they're starting to address what happens when people come back. I think they show like the marching band show up in the middle of the basketball game, right?
Yeah. Did you like before we blipped, he was like the scrawny little dude, and now that we blipped, he's like, I thought that was funny.
That's the other love interest guy though, right?
Yeah,
like Brendan or something.
The guy that took a picture of him.
Brad, something like that. Anyways,
yeah, Brad. Did you cry during the little montage, the Whitney Houston song? Did it make you tear up a little bit?
Did not, but there was like a montage tribute to Tony Stark. Right?
Tony Stark.
Yeah.
It
was all right.
I love seeing the little murals of Tony Stark in the different places.
Yeah,
just like random places that he ends up being at.
It seems like kind of worldwide, everybody's honoring his sacrifice.
Yeah,
that's nice. Peter tells Ned his plan to win over MJ on the class trip that they're about to embark on to various parts of Europe. And he wants to tell her how he feels. And man, I have been there, man. I could relate hard to what he's going through. Huh?
To doing all that planning?
Well, just like wanting to tell somebody how you feel. You know, I don't know. I've got strong memories of similar situations. I never went to Europe, but with a class trip. But then Aunt May gives a speech at a FEAST event, which is the Food Emergency Aid Shelter and Training charity that I guess she's the head of. She's certainly very involved with. That's a charity to support people displaced by the blip.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man is the guest of honor. She's got a pretty funny story about when she blipped.
When I blipped back to my apartment, the family that was living there was very confused. The wife thought that I was a mistress. The grandma thought that I was a ghost. It was really a mess.
I could see that happening.
There's other trouble if that's like your immediate thought.
Well, I mean, I guess they were just getting used to the blip having happened, right?
What do you mean?
That people disappeared,
Right.
and there was no indicator to anybody that they were going to ever reappear.
Oh, right. Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if some, like, I don't know, if I was chilling in the living room and some dude showed up in my bedroom out of nowhere, I wouldn't be like, "Hey, why are you cheating on me?" to my wife.
Fair.
You know, I'd be like, "Why is there some rando in my room?"
I mean, to be fair, if Marissa Tomei walked out of my bedroom, my wife would probably be wondering that same
fair.
thing.
That is, you make a strong point. After this, the feast event, Happy shows up and he tells Peter that Nick Fury wants to speak with him, and Peter's avoiding his calls. He's still got the shiny spider suit, like I don't know what they call it, the iron spider suit.
Iron spider suit.
With
the arms.
I do not like that suit. It's too shiny.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I like the comic book version of where it's more red than it is Spider-Man looking.
Yeah.
But it's all right to me.
Back at the apartment, Aunt May catches Peter off guard, tossing him a banana. She says,
"You're not going to get into the whole like the awkwardness between Happy and Marissa Tomei,
get into it,
like him just being like." No, I just thought it was cute. I just like after Endgame, and especially after "I'll get you all the cheeseburgers you want" to the kid. I'm just like, man,
you're team Happy.
I'm team Happy for like I want Happy to be genuinely happy.
I'm not team Happy at this moment in the movie, but I am by the end of the movie.
Too soon? Too soon after the blip?
I don't know. It seemed a little forced into the movie for them to try to be romantically involved, but it's important for Happy to be in the movie for later. So,
but they weren't romantic. They were just kind of
I guess there's some confusion as to what's going on there.
Right. Ask my wife about that. Apparently, I have a different story of how we got together.
Oh. So back at the apartment, Aunt May catches Peter off guard, tossing him a banana.
Hungry? Oh, so sorry. I thought that you could sense that with your Peter tingle.
Please do not start calling it my Peter tingle.
So what's up? You can dodge bullets but not bananas?
No, I just really need this vacation. I need a break.
You deserve it. Yeah. You know what? You should pack your suit just in case. I have a tingle about it.
Please stop saying tingle, May.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, it comes back a few times too.
Yeah.
And Peter needs to get ready for his trip to Europe, and Aunt May insists that he bring his Spidey suit just in case. He refuses, but later you find out that she stuck one in his suitcase anyway, which is the good-looking Spidey suit, if you ask me.
I like the new one that he comes out with. The one with the black accents.
Yeah. That's why I picked red and black here for the back.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's kind of, I mean, if it had been red and black first, and then he changed it to red and dark blue, I would have been like, ooh, I prefer the red and black. But because he had the red and dark blue to begin with, I think I prefer that one a little bit more. But
I just like the red and black.
Red and black is a good color combination for sure.
Yeah.
Peter and his classmates jump on a plane to Venice, Italy. There's a lot of fairly entertaining stuff that mostly is set up for later on. This other classmate, Brad, who I think we were talking about, grew up during the blip. He seems like competition for MJ's affection. Ned and Betty get seated next to each other while Peter has to sit with Mr. Harrington, who immediately starts telling Peter how his wife pretended to blip, but had really run off with a guy in her hiking group.
That was pretty funny.
That's cold.
That's so funny.
And by the time they arrive in Venice, Ned and Betty have a little thing going on.
That was a long flight.
Well, yeah, I guess it is a long flight.
That's some serious moves that Ned has to get a girl to be his girlfriend after just one flight.
Maybe they have a lot in common.
That's what they said.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So while everyone else is sightseeing, Peter sneaks off to buy a Black Dahlia flower necklace to give to MJ. Then a water monster attacks, and Peter has to do his best to be incognito while fighting back. Question for you. He shoots like a web slinger thing at the water monster, trying to grapple onto it, I guess. And it goes right through him. Obviously, it's because we know later on that it's not really there. It's fake, right? It's an illusion. But was he expecting? So it goes through because there's nothing there. But was he expecting it to actually grapple onto water? I would still expect it to go straight through.
No, I think he was just doing.
It's like a reflex.
You've got like one move.
Yeah.
As Spider-Man, you stick to walls or you shoot your web shooter, and I think he just reflexively.
When you're a
just was
hammer, everything looks like a nail, right?
Exactly. Did you see the cool thing he did where he like banged his arms together?
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, that's cool.
I
didn't notice that the first time.
I had to rewind and check that out a couple of times. It still wasn't clear exactly what was going on, but
yeah,
it was cool.
I didn't notice that at all the previous times I'd watched this.
I don't remember it, so I probably didn't notice it, but I did this time. Mysterio then shows up and he fights off the monster. Peter wants to help, and he puts on that weird jester mask that he found at like a stand outside a shop or something. And he puts that on to try to hide his identity, but like, who's
his
that?
Clothes are all the same.
Exactly. Like, who's he fooling? And it gets knocked off.
We're saying that, but everybody in Metropolis is fooled by a guy with glasses.
That's true. So after the fight, Mysterio takes off. And then there's some filler bullshit with Peter talking to Aunt May on the phone, and Happy's hanging out with her at the feast office or whatever. And what I like about this part of the movie is it's the origin of the name Mysterio.
Who is that guy?
He's like Iron Man and Thor rolled into one.
He's all right. He's no Spider-Man.
What is it with you and Spider-Man?
What? He's just awesome, okay? He protects the neighborhood and, he's inspiring. He inspires me to be a better man. What's up, dickwad? Thought you drowned.
Sounds like his name's Mysterio.
L'uomo del Mysterio is Italian for man of mystery. They don't actually know who he is.
Mysterio.
That's so much better than him showing up and being like, call me Mysterio. Right?
Yeah. When Flash was like, no, I just like Spider-Man better. He inspires me to be a better man.
Yeah.
And he goes, wait, what's up, Peter? What's up, Dickface to like Peter Parker?
Yeah.
So he said something that like cracked me up.
Yeah. Yes. Is that how, I'm assuming no, but is that how Mysterio got his name in the comics? Or does he just show up and be like, I'm Mysterio?
I think it was more like that.
So just
the
more good writing here.
Yeah, the comics, the writing in like the 70s, 80s, they wouldn't even think he was just an illusionist that happened to have a fish globe around his head. That's why nobody took him seriously. But this version is so much cooler.
Yeah. Back in Peter and Ned's room, Fury is there waiting. He tranks Ned and gives Peter a talking to. He gives him the rundown on all the seemingly weather-related monster incidents happening worldwide. Did he say that he made the school field trip go to the places where they were expecting things to happen? Like they're in Italy?
Yes.
Because, but that's okay.
That's some really manipulative, covert government stuff.
Toxic relationship.
This was like a really funny scene though. Like I thought.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh wait.
And then like
one more person comes in.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. The teacher's knocking on the door, telling them that if they got any of the water in their mouth, let them know if they're having diarrhea or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. Fury takes Peter to meet with Mr. Quentin Beck, aka Mysterio. Beck says he's from another dimension. This is Earth Dimension 616. Beck is from 833. Now, knowing how this turns out, spoiler alert, he's lying, as we'll find out shortly. I like the alternate dimensions references here, but like what's with the numbering? Wouldn't each dimension call their own Earth 1, and then like the other ones would be like 2 and 3? So like he's like, I'm from 833. Who's got the master list of the
dimension?
The
dimensional like serial numbers,
right? So I mean, like just doesn't make. I feel like everybody would be like, oh yeah, we're Earth 1, and then we discover this other one that's Earth 2, and this one's
right. I don't know, but like in Marvel, the Earth 616 is generally considered like the main timeline.
Right. I guess
so I was like, oh, that's why I think when I saw this, I was like, oh, dude, they're totally doing the multiverse thing now, and they're introducing it, and then that threw me off when it wasn't. Well, that's why I was like, all these like red herrings, and then they pivot in like another direction was pretty good.
We will for sure get into multiverse within a couple of more movies, probably. When does it really?
Well, the next one is when the next Spider-Man at the
next Spider-Man for sure. Yeah. But I don't like the idea of the multiverse. I think it's just it's too easy to be like, oh well, there's another universe where where this does happen or this doesn't happen, and I don't like that as far as movies go. So I was glad when this was just a fake out.
Yeah, and you totally missed the explanation when you went to the bathroom the first time.
I caught
or
on.
did you?
I caught on.
Did you get in before he explained?
It was like it was right in the middle of his speech about how Tony was inept or whatever.
And created barf.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. Well, didn't he say that he was like, thanks to what's his face for making up this really silly story that everybody bought.
Yeah. So Beck is pretty good at winning over Peter's trust. He tells him, don't ever apologize for being the smartest person in the room. I
would have given him Edith too.
Yes. He manipulates Peter so well.
Yeah.
Beck gives him a rundown on the elementals, earth, wind, water, and fire-based monsters. He claims that the elementals destroyed his world. And now here, only fire is left, the one that destroyed his earth.
The strongest one too.
Yes, according to him.
Yes.
And it's expected to be in Prague in 24 hours. And how do they know that? I mean, I know that this is, all set up and orchestrated by Beck, but what is it that he is showing or letting Fury and Hill find where they're going to be like, yeah, in 24 hours, it's going to be in Prague?
I thought he was just kind of repeating what supposedly happened on his Earth.
Yeah, maybe.
And that's how that sequence and where they showed up and why they showed up in specific places. And
well,
stuff.
and I guess if Maria and Fury saw that monster
the electromagnetic signatures.
Yes. So I guess that's the electromagnetic signatures. I guess he can generate those somehow, or I don't know. But I guess if they've seen with their own eyes some of these, at least one of these monsters, then maybe they're inclined to believe him. I don't know. And maybe it's just better to not try to explain it because then I'll be like, well, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I think that's where I got kind of confused. I guess they were using the drones to when the monster would punch into things, they would actually shoot stuff.
Yeah.
But then where are the bullet cases? The bullet casings, and what are they shooting with?
I've got complaints, George.
Okay. That's okay. I was wondering out loud, but I guess you already you already have that on your list.
I sure do. So going to Prague would throw a wrench into Peter Parker's romantic plans, so he resists the idea. And then and Fury's like, bitch, please, you've been to space. That's a great line.
He's such a good Fury.
And Fury excuses him, but he apparently has a lot of sway and somehow makes the class trip detour to Prague now. And it sure seems irresponsible to put a bunch of kids in danger like that.
That's why I think as soon as he was like, oh, I understand.
Yeah.
You go into, I was like, oh man. It's like, what's he about to do? And then he totally did it.
On the bus ride to Prague through the Swiss Alps, Peter tries on Tony Stark's glasses, and I need you to fill me in on where he got those because I missed something. I've seen this movie multiple times, and for whatever reason, I don't remember how he actually got them.
Fury gave it to him when he was telling him
in that last scene.
Fury, I thought he gave it to him in his bedroom when he knocked out Ned.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, hey, maybe that was it.
Tony wanted you to have this.
Yeah, I figured I would catch it when I watched with commentary, but there was no commentary, so I didn't watch it again.
Did you catch that he actually isn't the only one? That Edith gives him access to all of Tony Stark's defense tech, but he doesn't have exclusive access. So other people have glasses.
Interesting.
To the thing. I don't know if they did that on purpose.
Yeah.
I think I just caught it this time around when they were like, you've got access to Tony Stark, but which kind of implies that he's one of X number of people.
It would make sense.
It would make sense trusts.
To not be just one person. And I don't think it would have been just Peter.
Right.
The glasses AI is called Edith, which stands for Even Dead, I'm the Hero. And Tony loved his acronyms. But that's funny, but I don't know if Tony would have planned that in the event of his death. Really? I don't know if that's
You don't know. He's a futurist.
He is, I guess.
Futurists plan for those outcomes.
At a pit stop, Peter meets with an agent who gives him a stealth suit so he can be incognito. Brad catches him with his pants down, literally, and is going to blackmail him because he likes MJ too. Back on the bus, Peter tries to get some help from Edith with Brad, but almost assassinates him instead, which is a pretty funny scene.
Yeah.
So a little over the top, but it's the same kind of humor as when he took the training wheels off the spider suit in Homecoming, and then it's like instant kill mode and all that.
Yeah.
Peter does get the picture deleted from Brad's phone, though, and then Brad looks like an idiot when he's trying to show it to MJ.
Did they actually have a scene where he was like, I just took a picture of Peter stripping in front of a hot agent?
They just showed him, like I don't know,
pictures, right?
Yeah, he's like, I don't know, it was here a minute ago. So I think it's just implied that he was telling MJ that.
Yeah.
Then they make it to Prague. It's the annual Carnival of Lights, and Peter meets with Fury again, Fury and Beck and Hill, and then they have some other crew there. I like how Beck sticks up for Peter. It's a good way to keep you on his side for now, on Beck's side. So I don't love that now he's using the Mysterio moniker, right?
Well, he was doing it because he wanted to be like, yeah, you helped.
Yeah, that's true.
You helped pick the name.
Yeah.
He was cementing this the trust of this poor hapless Peter.
Yep. That's a good point. Peter is tasked with keeping watch for the lava monster, or the fire monster, whatever. I keep calling it the lava monster.
Exactly what I would think the lava monster looks like.
Yep. And he's supposed to radio for help when it arrives. Fury's kind of a dick to Peter, though, in this whole scene. I mean, he's been kind of a dick the whole time to Peter, but it's especially bad here. When Peter's basically just concerned that his friends are in danger, and Fury's basically calling him a wimp.
But we find out later it isn't Fury.
Yeah, I got to complain about that too, but I'm just going to save that for the end.
Yeah.
So then the class goes to the opera, which is a plan that Fury set in motion to help Peter keep his friends safe. Peter wants to sit with MJ, but he's got Spidey work to do, which is too bad because he has this cute, awkward moment with her right before he has to go sit and wait for the lava monster to show up. I felt really bad for Peter here. He just wants to be a normal kid for a bit, and he's getting saddled with this responsibility he doesn't really want. Like, I get it. He's a superhero who's available, but he's also like, 17, 18?
I mean, if I were Fury, though, and that was the strongest person that you had, and like you're one of the only people that are aware of this, like, potentially extinction level event monsters that are showing up, and Thor's off-world, Captain Marvel's not around. You got to go with what you got to go with. So I can kind of get Fury's thing, though. I think
I'm just trying to think. Like, Captain America's not around, Black Widow's gone.
Clint, what's Clint gonna do?
Right,
throw arrows at the lava monster. I used up all 8 of my arrows.
Who's left? There's got to be somebody. Well, Black Panther's is technically still around.
Yeah, but Fury doesn't have access to Black Panther. Fury and T'Challa weren't on first name basis.
Yeah, I don't know. Who else would he have called? There's no Vision anymore.
Guardians of the Galaxy are all off.
They're off with Thor.
I get the Asgardians.
I get.
But
Yeah, in
I don't
general,
think he knows where they are, right?
Yeah, I don't know. What about Hulk? Yeah.
Where is Professor Hulk?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like he could have built something. I feel like he would have figured it out that it was.
You'd think that he would have been the first person, unless he was recovering from Endgame. But even then,
I don't know.
He's easily stronger than Spider-Man. Fair point. Where is Hulk?
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways,
did you like the Flash going like, none of us want to go to an opera?
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny. I love Flash Thompson in this series. He's so funny.
He really is good comic relief. So MJ sneaks out, then Ned and Betty sneak out as well. They go to the carnival while Peter watches over them, and he's not having any fun. I thought it was hilarious. Probably the funniest line in the movie for me was,
I'm in position. As soon as I see something back, I'll let you know.
Roger that. How's the suit?
The suit's great. It's awesome. It's a little tight around the old web shooter.
Parker.
Okay, I'll shut up.
Yeah.
I was
pretty good
surprised that line stayed in the movie. That's a little racy. Ned and Betty get on a Ferris wheel just before the lava monster shows up. Peter calls in Mysterio, and they both start to fight the creature. How does Spider-Man not know that it's a bunch of drones when he swings? He kicks it in the back, right? He has this like big swinging on his web and bounces off the back of the creature at one point, right?
Did he?
Am I imagining that?
I don't remember.
It looks like he kicks it in the back. It's so like I don't know if he just happened to kick a couple of the drones. Maybe it was like a lucky shot. But also, even if it was an actual lava monster, because like at this point, if you're watching the movie the first time, you don't know that it's a bunch of drones, right?
Right.
And obviously,
but if it was a lava monster, his Peter Tingle would have told him not to step on it.
I would have just known not to step on lava.
Right. I mean, there is that too, right?
Yes. So, but I guess that was my thing. Like, was he expecting that he could withstand that kind of heat and that his suit could withstand that? I don't know. So I don't know. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I could have. I mean, that was a note I took while watching it. I'm sure it must have happened, or maybe I just misunderstood what I was seeing. I don't know. And then this is what you were saying before, like the drones can cause. Because again, you don't at the time you don't know it. First time you watch this movie it's easy to let a lot of this stuff go, but now you know that it's a bunch of drones, and this thing is like punching the ground and cracking it. Like, how are the drones doing that? Like, wouldn't they smash to pieces if they were hitting the ground? And I guess there's like they show
they have like
on,
sonic. They have like different types of weapons, like sonic weapons and bullets and stuff.
Yeah, the sonic,
none of that explains any of it.
Right. The bullets. Yeah, where would the shells go, as you said? And then like the sonic thing, I don't know, man. Like cracking the ground like that, that's a stretch.
You'd hear it happen. It wouldn't sound like a actual thunderous punch, right?
Yeah. So, anyways, the movie falls apart for me quite a bit upon repeated viewings.
Oh man, I see it dropping I'm looking at our current ranking list, and I'm like, maybe it's not there.
It's falling precipitously. Ned, I also thought it was funny when Ned tells Betty that it's she's like, oh, there's Spider-Man. He's like, no, it's some European ripoff version of Spider-Man, and it calls him Night Monkey.
I thought the Night Monkey name was funny.
Yeah, that's pretty good. We get a good clue that there's something rotten in Denmark when Peter webs onto something invisible for a second. And it turns out to be a faulty drone later on.
It was like the projector part, right?
The projector
he like
part,
rips it out, and then he was like, what the?
Yeah. Then Night Monkey has to save Ned and Betty. And they were the only two people on the Ferris wheel, apparently. I don't know.
I could swear that when they got on it, there were more people in the other
That's what I thought too, yeah.
But for whatever reason, the other folks must have jumped off,
I guess,
or climbed off or something. I don't know, because they weren't there, right? Like there was nobody.
There was nobody else there that I saw. Yeah. I don't know. It seemed weird to me. Hill and Fury show up, and then Beck bravely dives into the beast and destroys it from within. This seems like a really convoluted way to get the glasses from Peter. There was no other way he could have done this.
I mean. I mean, I think part of it was also getting gaining Fury's trust.
Right.
Though I don't know what Fury and Maria Hill thought they could do against a lava monster when they pulled up. Like, it looked all nice. They all raced, screeched to a stop, and then they got out of the car and just watched.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe they were gonna stare at it, distract it. I don't know.
Okay. Oh man, it's dropping for me.
Afterwards, Fury tells Beck that he's needed here still, and then he says the same for Peter, but he's like, make up your mind, kid. Figure out what you want to do. Then Beck later on gets a drink with Peter. Why doesn't Peter get a drink? Unsupervised high school kid in Europe, not acting like an unsupervised high school kid in Europe.
What do you mean? Like, why didn't he just try to get a drink?
Yeah, well, maybe he's not 18 yet, I guess, but the drinking age is 18. So like, he was like, it's like a Shirley Temple or something, I think.
Did he get a drink?
All he got was like, I think we got a Shirley Temple or just like a soda water or something.
Oh.
But like, he should have got a beer or something. Like, at least try.
It's just Peter being a nice kid.
Yeah.
Because I remember being kind of a square and not wanting to do anything, or just being too scared that like, yeah, my parents can find out somehow that I'm doing something stupid. Or what they wouldn't want. It took me a long time to get over that. You know, the whole like, you tie an elephant to a post, and and as it grows, it'll like eventually still feel like, no matter, regardless of how big the elephant gets, it'll still feel like it can't free itself from that post.
All right.
Because, yeah, I think it's that.
Okay.
I'm stretching, but yeah.
I was not that well behaved.
I was a bit of a square.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you're the oldest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was the middle child. So.
Oh yeah. So you were primed for.
Still am the middle child, I guess. Yeah. Good times. Anyways, Beck talks to Peter like a real person, and Peter lets Beck try on the Edith glasses. I feel like Beck has a bit of a Tony Stark vibe going on here, which I guess is, by design, because they want, the filmmakers want it to appear realistic that Peter would trust Beck with the glasses, right?
I mean, Jake Gyllenhaal, he's just such a sly, smooth Quentin Beck. I really feel like I probably would have been like, no, man, I think I'm not ready for this responsibility. I think I think like if I had seen him just blow his power suit and dive into a lava monster and seemingly had almost self-sacrificed himself, I think I also would have been like, no, man, you are a hero. You dove into that monster.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, and Peter's just the kid, right?
Yeah.
So Peter reinterprets what Tony's note said, which was, for the next Tony Stark, I trust you. So now he thinks that Tony trusted him to find someone worthy of the glasses, not necessarily that the glasses were for him.
That's just bad reading comprehension.
Yeah. Also, when has Peter ever made the right decision? He's always messing up. Why did Tony trust him with anything?
But like, I think that's why I like this movie towards the end, is because he doesn't make a lot of like good decisions, but he owns up to it and then he fixes it. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Like when Happy saw him kind of putting his own suit together and like started smiling, I thought it was just one of those like, yeah, he's turning into an adult. He's cleaning up after himself and he's figuring out that like, I have to take care of this.
Yeah.
It was my mess.
Where was I? I think we talked about like that Beck is just really good at manipulating Peter. So Peter leaves after he gives Beck the glasses, and Beck waits like 4 whole seconds before dropping the illusion. What if Peter came back?
I mean, that was a possibility, right?
Yes. Then we get the huge exposition dump that I mostly missed the first time I watched this, about how Beck worked for Tony. We get the flashback of him near the beginning of Civil War that he wasn't actually in, where he's off to the side of the stage when Tony's showing off the barf glasses.
I like when you can see him mouthing the word barf.
Yeah.
Like he was pissed. He just called my tech barf.
Yeah, that was great. So Beck and a bunch of other people who also worked for Tony hated him for not developing their tech ideas. One of them is the Christmas Story kid who was in the first Iron Man, right? Peter Billingsley, who playing William Ginter Riva. Was he not arrested at the end of the first Iron Man movie?
Why? He didn't do anything.
He was working for the Big Lebowski guy.
Yeah, but he didn't know that he was
Jeff Bridges,
like an evil mastermind behind everything. I mean, he was just a hapless scientist.
He helped them get that Ironmonger suit going, which was
no, he didn't. He failed. Didn't? Remember? That's why Obadiah had to get Tony's arc reactor. Because he was like, Tony figured this out in a cave and you can't figure any of this. Like, I need you to take this and shrink it.
Okay, but that's kind of like if you go to rob a bank and you fail to rob it, you still tried to rob a bank, right? So he was still trying to make this tech for Obadiah.
Right. But I think he has like
plausible
deniability because he had no idea what he was working on was supposed to go into that Ironmonger suit.
I don't know. I just feel like he was definitely kicked out of should have been kicked out of Stark Industries at that point. But I, mean, I don't know.
I think at some point Tony's he did, forgiven. Right? That's how Beck picked him up.
Yeah.
That whole scene though, I remember going, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my god, he is a bad guy."
And normally I would hate like a total exposition dump. But
Yeah.
this is in the middle of a movie still. Like you're not explaining the whole movie.
No, yeah.
You're just, you're kind of like, here's the turn. And
Right.
and that I liked. But there's other movies where, at the end they're like, oh, here's here's everything that we did secretly behind the scenes or whatever. And it's like, it's not good if you have to explain it all. Like I
Right.
want to be able to figure it out. But here I liked it. It was fine. So anyways, they all thought that Tony was unfit. Tony used Beck's hologram tech as the therapy machine and called it BARF. All the elemental monsters have been a bunch of drones. It's illusion tech plus weapons. I do appreciate that they dispel a lot of the how did they do that questions here.
Yeah.
I obviously still have a lot of issues with the physical possibility of it, but B+ for effort. Also, every time I say illusion, all I can think of is Job from Arrested Development going, illusion. A trick is something a whore does for money.
I haven't seen it, but that sounds funny.
You haven't seen Arrested Development?
There's just so much to watch, man.
Oh my God, dude. IT Crowd and Arrested Development need to go to the top of your to-watch list and watch them multiple times.
IT Crowd, IT Crowd is awesome. I just started The Sopranos, man.
Okay.
And it's taking me a while. And I've seen clips of Breaking Bad, and I'm trying to make my way. I'm trying to dedicate time to actually go through Breaking Bad. I know,
So
I should have seen Breaking Bad by now.
Technically, I don't know about Breaking Bad. I have to think harder on it, but I know IT Crowd and Arrested Development are technically MCU adjacent. So those you might get assigned to those. I wouldn't say like watch the whole series, but maybe
binge it.
Maybe we'll do
2 weeks.
Well, especially with IT Crowd, I think each season's like 3 or 4 episodes, and they're like 20 minutes each or something. Like it's less than a movie.
I hear IT Crowd's pretty good.
It's great, and I mean, so is Arrested Development though. It's the jokes are so rapid fire. You got to watch it multiple times to catch everything. That's one you can't watch doing something else. You actually have to pay attention to it.
Are you a huge Breaking Bad fan? Just random question.
Yes.
I was gonna say, like, chemistry teacher and your knowledge of all that stuff. I feel
it's
like
pretty scientifically sound. Most of the stuff they do on that show, most of it. And there's only one bad episode, and everybody knows which one that is.
Oh, really? Damn! Now I have to watch it to figure this out.
It's not the last episode either. Like, I'm not gonna. That'd be horrible. They just didn't stick the landing at all.
Not like Seinfeld.
Oh yeah, what's up with that? I totally lost my place.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
That was a lot of tangents.
Yeah, I think I kind of already said that the whole reveal is an interesting twist. I know what I was gonna say. I a little bit would have rather have had Mysterio be a real supervillain instead of all this illusion tech bullshit, because then I wouldn't have so many problems with it. If he was an actual like dark magician or something, and he could just do this stuff,
like a washed up Doctor Strange.
Yeah, and so that's what I was gonna say. Like they could even tie it in with Doctor Strange, which they do in the third movie a little bit.
Wait, they do?
Doctor Strange is the one who makes everybody forget who Peter Parker is.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Anyways, Peter's mission is now over, but so is the class trip. Everyone's parents are freaking out and want their kids home ASAP. Peter goes out on a limb and asks MJ to go do something fun their last night there, and she says yes.
Oh, hey.
Hey.
Look, I'm not ready for this trip to be over yet, and I kind of want to do something fun that's not on the itinerary or planned or with Mr. Harrington.
Yes.
Yes, like you want to go?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. I'll see you outside in 10 minutes.
Meet me outside in 5 minutes.
5 is good.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
And they are so cute here.
Dude, yeah, I'm telling you. I was watching this and I'm like, I remember all this. I remember these feelings.
It's yeah. It's so high school crush, and I was relating really hard to it. And this might be the best part of the movie, I think. Just they go for a little walk, and like there's like this awkwardness between them, and I can just remember that, man. He wants to tell her that he likes her, but she guesses that he was going to tell her he's Spider-Man. She had found a piece of some kind of tech from the lava monster fight earlier that he had pulled off with his web. They fumble the device and drop it, causing a projection of part of an elemental for a second. And then Peter figures out what's going on when it projects again, and we see Mysterio as well.
I am Spider-Man, and I really messed up.
Wait, you're being serious right now?
Mm-hmm.
You're not joking with me? Like, you're 100% serious because it's not funny?
No, I'm not joking.
Because I was only like 67% sure.
MJ?
So why are you here?
MJ?
Why are you on this school trip?
MJ, look, I know you have a lot of questions, but look, we really have to get out of here, okay?
Okay. I can't believe I figured it out.
Pretty funny scene.
It's pretty sure.
Yeah. Elsewhere, Beck and the Christmas Story guy are working on the next elemental attack hologram. We get some more behind the scenes of how it's done with the drones. They're running the drones decloaked but weaponized, tweaking the desired damage. With the Edith drones, now they can build an event big enough to cover the entire city of London, which is apparently where they are. There's going to be a lot of casualties, though, which doesn't seem to bother Beck at all, because more casualties equals more coverage for when he saves the world from an Avengers-level threat. Side note, it would have been an interesting twist if an Avengers-level threat did show up and he was expected to handle it.
Yeah.
Right? And then I was thinking, so what is his endgame here? Because at some point, if he's made an Avenger, then what? He's going to have to fight at some point.
Yeah.
And how does he do that? I guess he's gonna have the drones fight for him.
I think he's just hoping that Thor comes back or some of the other strong folks, and then he'll look like he's helping.
Yeah, I guess. I like he would continue to do his fake attacks. I'm just saying, like, at some point, a real attack is gonna happen.
Yeah.
And then what does he do? I don't know.
He just wanted the glory. He didn't really care.
Right.
Or he didn't think through it.
Yeah, I feel like he did not think this through.
Yeah.
He seems very task oriented to me.
But he could always do something, right? Like he could always just pretend like he got zapped back to his universe.
I guess. Yeah, like Captain Marvel's always taken off for years at a time.
Yeah.
Anyways, a glitch in the hologram they're testing tips off Beck that a projector is missing from a drone, and that evidence could ruin their plan. And then he says, Nick Fury can't catch on before I kill him. So I guess killing Fury is part of his plan?
Yep.
So I don't know why, but okay. This is just, it seems like more standard comic book villain stuff.
Because Nick Fury is the master spy man. And if you can get past him, you can trick everybody.
Yeah, I guess. But again, like, to what end? You know, he's just, I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do when he accomplishes these goals.
Hey, man, fair point. I'm right there with you. I'm
Yeah.
seeing this thing ending up next to Iron Man 2 right now.
Oh, no.
I'm like looking at our list and I'm like, ew.
Yeah. Using Edith, Beck figures out that Peter has the projector and that he knows Beck is a phony. Beck blames Christmas Story guy and says when he's killed Peter Parker, his blood is on your hands. So now back to Peter. He needs to go see Fury in Berlin, so he changes into his night monkey suit while MJ looks the other way. Ned walks in and tries to cover up for Peter before MJ says she figured it out, which is a pretty funny scene.
That was cute too.
Yeah. Peter fills Ned in on Mysterio's illusion tech, then hops a train to Berlin to tell Fury about Beck. I didn't really have anything on that scene. It's kind of funny, but nothing really to discuss on it.
Yeah.
Fury finds Peter at the train station in Berlin when he arrives there. How did he find him there?
They were tracking him. Once he figured out that MJ had that projector part, and they found footage of MJ and Peter looking through it.
Right.
I think they just followed him.
They just followed him. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay.
Well, he knew that he knew that Fury wanted him in Prague too.
Right.
Right.
So, yeah. So if you hadn't seen the movie before, you think it's just Fury, and you're like, how did Fury track him? And I thought maybe there was something in the spider suit or the night monkey suit, but it's actually Beck or somebody else. It's illusion tech, so it's not Fury at all. And yeah, I guess that makes sense. That they just kind of followed him. And then, yeah. All right. Yeah. What you're saying makes sense. Got it.
It's some really good illusion tech, though. Like the inside of the car with Nick Fury sitting right there next to you.
That was my, like, kind of joking around. I'm like, well, how far is this illusion tech going? Is it actually a car, or are they just sitting in a bunch of drones?
No, they're in the car. I would imagine you'd have to, right?
I'm joking. Yeah. It would have to be a real, well, I don't know. It's a movie, but
There had to be like at least a drone inside and outside at the whole time,
or
just floating.
well, I
by.
mean, I'm assuming that it's an actual person sitting in the car, and that there's some kind of projector in there making it look like it's a stretch. It's too much. But the first time you're watching it, you're not thinking about that kind of thing. You just think it's Nick Fury.
Right.
I did like though when Peter goes to put on the seatbelt and he just like breaks it.
Yes.
I don't know about you, but every time, more often than not, when I get in the car, I'm in a hurry.
Yeah.
And I try to put the seatbelt on real quick, and the
catch
little mechanism in there catches, and it's like, and then you got to go really slow.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was funny to see him just rip it right out.
No, because he is hella strong. Did you
Yeah.
Like I forgot what it was, but I've seen a couple of clips where people are like, they highlight how strong Peter Parker actually is. Like in the first movie, the suitcase with his suit, Happy was struggling to pull it out of the trunk of the limo.
Oh yeah.
And then he just kind of picks
like,
it up
whoop.
hella easy.
Yeah.
And then like
Well,
even in this movie, everybody's kind of struggling with all their luggage, and it's like he picks up his is like double everyone's luggage, and he picks it up super easy.
Yeah.
And
well,
he's
I was gonna say in this movie when Flash takes the glasses from him on the bus, and he just like goes to slap him and he knocks him out.
That was funny. And then he woke up and he was just pretending like, oh, that was a suit this whole time.
So, quote unquote, Fury and Peter meet up with quote unquote Hill.
Right.
At
we're doing air quotes now the whole time.
Yes. They meet up at some Berlin headquarters building. I don't know what it is. Peter fills him in on the illusion tech. Then he gets a little tingle in his Peter.
Right.
And he says, Beck is here. And the whole thing is an illusion. Hill isn't really there. At this point, it does seem like Fury is there.
Yeah.
But this is when I really start to have problems with the illusion tech. Mysterio, or Beck, whatever, kind of turns on the illusion and everything goes dark around Peter. It's like this dark hallway.
Yeah.
Like, you can't project darkness. That's probably my biggest problem. Everything else I can kind of let go, right? But I was like, you can't do that. That's a huge no for me. I know it's a comic book movie. My whole thing, this whole time, I think I kind of said this at the beginning of this episode, for 9 years of the MCU or whatever it's been so far, my whole thing is I don't like unrealistic bullshit. So most comic book movies aren't going to be my thing, but the MCU mostly plays into the realism.
Right.
So like improbable things, I can let go sometimes, but when it's straight up impossible, it pisses me off. So this was a real problem for me. Also, how did Beck get a 3D lifelike model of MJ? Because MJ shows up at one point, right?
I'm just assuming it's the same way that like you scan somebody with or without them knowing, and you have a 3D model you can use anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, I guess nowadays with AI and all that, sure, but
this is me just projecting from applying technology now to what do you do if you had like Mysterio level tech.
Yeah.
But I did think that like, it seems like they have to plan the illusions in detail before they actually employ it, right?
Yeah, and it seems like he's just winging it here.
Yeah. That's the part I think I didn't get. Like even like the zombie Iron Man and everything that was attacking him.
That was cool, but I think that was just I'm sure that was out of a comic book.
Yeah.
And
There's a Marvel Zombies like series.
Yeah. So I really hate this part. I feel like it could have been good, and they just went too far with it.
Oh,
this is probably the worst part for me. What's up?
I'm just curious now, like where you're feeling this movie ends up.
Well, we will get there.
It's holding steady at a certain place for me.
I'm actually curious as to where you are as well. We'll get there soon enough. Peter Parker is getting pwned hard by Mysterio, but then Fury shoots him in the back, and the illusions stop.
Fury!
Next people are trying to find everyone who could expose him. Who'd you tell? I know you told someone, so just tell me,
okay.
Who did you tell? Who else did you tell?
Okay, just Ned and MJ from my class, and maybe Ned told his girlfriend Betty, but that's it. What?
You are so dumb.
What?
I mean, he's smart as a whip. Just a
Sucker. So now all your friends have to die.
Which was pretty clever on Beck's
Yeah.
part because it's still an illusion. It's not really, Fury's not there. And that's, I don't know, that's pretty diabolical.
Yeah. I thought so.
As much as I hated everything that led up to that part, it was pretty smart.
Right.
And then Peter gets creamed by a train, which probably should have killed him. Definitely should have derailed the train or at least damaged it very badly.
Right.
I was recently on a much slower moving train and it hit a shopping cart. And that was a huge deal. Like we came to a screeching halt. Like there was this nasty smell because it like broke some hydraulics and stuff and they had to stop and fix it for a while. It was
a bullet train too, right?
Yeah, it was. Well, I don't know if it was a bullet train, but it was cruising. It was going way faster than the trains do here.
Yeah,
because it's Europe and they have better trains.
This is why we can't have nice things.
So Peter wakes up in a holding cell with some friendly Dutch people. He breaks out easily and borrows a cell phone to call Happy for a ride. There's a pretty good scene on Happy's plane.
Just a few more. There we go.
Oh my God, Happy.
Relax.
Don't tell me to relax, Happy. How can I relax when I messed up so bad? I trusted Beck, right? I thought he was my friend, so I gave him the only thing that Mr. Stark left behind for me, and now he's gonna kill my friends in half of Europe, so please, do not tell me to relax. I'm sorry, Happy. I'm sorry I shouldn't shout. I just really miss him.
Yeah, I miss him too.
Everywhere I go, I see his face, and the whole world is asking who's gonna be the next Iron Man. I don't know if that's me, Happy. I'm not Iron Man.
You're not Iron Man. You're never gonna be Iron Man. Nobody could live up to Tony. Not even Tony.
Then, using the equipment readily available on the plane, Peter whips up a new spider suit, custom tailored to his specifications. I think we talked about this a little bit, but what did you think of this suit? I liked it.
I liked the new trim. The like it being in black with the black accents and stuff.
It looks basically like the one he had, the first one that Tony gave him in Civil War, I guess, except it's black and red instead of blue and red.
Yeah.
Right?
I think I read somewhere that, you know how like in the fight, he runs out of web shooter, fluid. Somebody was saying like, this is why, like it's him basically just learning to just kind of grow up and like figure this stuff out. Cause like Iron Man's Spider-Man suit never ran out of like web fluid because there were just places to store the web fluid and stuff. And then here he like
think
ran
about
out.
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do like the new suit, but I kind of don't like it how whenever there's a sequel to a movie, there's gotta be a new suit.
Yeah.
Like, why do we have to work that in every time?
He keeps getting beat up. The Night Monkey suit was thrashed, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, getting hit by a train will do that, I suppose.
Yeah. I did like the whole like, I can't live up to it, and then he's like, hey, Tony, even Tony couldn't live up to the Tony Stark name.
Yeah,
that was like
he has a good talk with
thing
Happy.
with the two of them was so good.
No, I'm on Team Happy at this point.
Oh, this is what you jumped on?
Oh yeah, he's a good father figure.
Oh man, yeah, he is. Yeah.
So Peter's off to London to save his friends because the entire class has arrived in London, and one of Beck's guys has them on a double-decker bus specifically in order to put them in danger.
I loved when he was like, "Let me borrow your phone," and he finds out where they are because he knows. He knows what's his face.
He he checks out Flash's
social media.
Instagram or whatever, TikTok. I guess it was probably not TikTok back then.
Was it TikTok or Instagram? I can't remember. It was something.
It's something, some social media, whatever. Yeah. Fury and Hill call on Mysterio to check out a new energy pulse, bigger than any of the previous ones. Fury tells Beck that he's all they've got. So then Beck tells Christmas Story that no Avengers are coming. And at first I was like, why not? Like, why are there no other Avengers coming? But I guess we kind of discussed this already.
Yeah,
there aren't any really available.
But we know that the Hulk at least is somewhere.
Uh-huh.
Right?
But then I also kind of figured at this point, Fury might be on to Beck. a little bit. Like he's starting to suspect something, I think.
Yeah.
But then also, would he just let a bunch of people die? I don't know.
Yeah.
I had a lot of thoughts on this.
I mean, I can't tell if Fury caught on or had already caught on, or if he caught on only when Happy called him. And
I think he suspected, and then it was confirmed when Happy called him.
Yeah.
So then a bunch of drones drop out of the Stark satellite. Is that Veronica?
No, because Veronica was specifically the Hulkbuster.
Okay. Just another
Yeah.
Stark satellite. Okay. Potential science gripe here. I have to assume that satellite was geosynchronous. And if not, it'd be moving around the Earth at a very rapid speed,
Right.
and then the drones would have burned up in reentry.
Yeah.
So I guess it's not a gripe if it was geosynchronous.
When the first drone came, didn't it show it heating up on reentry, and then it just kind of like...
Did it? I'm going to be so mad.
I can't remember if like there was like a protective thing around it, and then it shed that, and then...
Well, maybe. I guess that would be okay. I don't know. If they accounted for that, I guess it'd be okay. I didn't see it. I've got a real problem when things burn up when they're not supposed to, or don't when they should.
Right.
That's an extra trigger for me. So the bus driver leaves the kids on the bus in the middle of a bridge, and the attack starts. Happy calls Nick Fury and basically tells him in code to watch out for Beck. The kids make a run for it, and it's a pretty chaotic scene. And the whole time, all I can think about is how impossible all this illusion tech stuff is.
Right.
I'm down on this part of the movie still.
Because now you've seen behind the curtain.
Yeah. Peter jumps out of Happy's jet and into the illusion, and it really bothers me that his drag chute is spider shaped.
It wouldn't have worked out if
right. Well, it's like with I just think it's unnecessary. It's an unnecessary flourish, and it's like when Batman has like the throwing stars that are bat shaped.
The batarangs.
Right. It's like, yeah. It's like, well, I mean, the batarang makes a little sense because it's supposed to come back, right? But there's just like the throwing star ones, but they're bat shaped.
What about his bat pen?
It's fine.
That he writes
on his
pen. Bat checks from his bat boat.
I think the worst isn't one of the George Clooney ones. I don't know if there was more than one. Isn't there one where he has like a Batman credit card?
I don't remember.
I'm gonna look that up, and if it didn't happen, I'll cut this out. Anyways, from inside the giant illusion, Peter's webbing the drones. As ridiculous as the premise is, this looks good. They spent the money on the VFX here. I thought it looked really,
the drones
really good.
all in sync.
Yeah, and him like jumping from one to another and webbing them and just being inside of this whole monstrosity of illusion.
Yeah.
So I thought it at least looked good, which helps.
But like, wouldn't you want the drones to be cloaked inside in case like something does happen and somebody sees what's going on?
I don't know. I mean, I guess. But if you can get inside the illusion, you already know something's up.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And I don't know if you could cloak them as well as I don't know. I'm thinking about it too much.
It's going to make you hate it even more.
Yeah. Beck notices something's hinky, and then he sees Peter inside the illusion just before Peter uses his taser webs to disable a bunch of the drones. And then the illusion begins to fail spectacularly. And then, so there was a cloaked drone, right outside the window where Fury was. Yeah. Was it a little bit overkill for Hill to blow that up with a missile launcher?
No, because I you don't know how strong that thing is.
I guess. All right. Fair enough.
But I don't get why it uncloaked to begin with. Was it because he told the guy to turn off all the cloaking?
He did tell him to shut it down at some point. Maybe that was.
But why would you?
I remember the
but why would you shut down the one hovering in front of Nick Fury?
Maybe he didn't think about that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's all or nothing. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Why am I defending this movie?
That is like the worst part.
Beck has William, who's a Christmas Story guy. He has him disable the giant illusion and enable his illusion suit. Then Happy goes to get the kids to safety. This is a really funny part too.
Happy!
I gotta get you guys out of here. Get on the jet.
Who are you?
I work with Spider-Man, okay? You gotta get on that jet.
You work for Spider-Man?
I work with Spider-Man, not for Spider-Man.
I also like. Did you like when he throws the shield and it just falls
Yes.
straight down? Because how does he do that?
How does he do that? That was pretty great. So Happy takes the kids to the Crown Jewels vault where they escape the drone Beck is chasing them with. Edith is trying to kill Spider-Man with the drones, but he's hard to get. Peter's still trying to get to Beck, dodging and destroying drones while also using them to swing and jump off of. And the action is way over the top, but it's still really good. Again, like they spent the money on the effects here. So
Yeah.
I hate the premise, but it looks good and it's entertaining. So
I also like how
a little more
was kind
acceptable.
of like, hey, he's really dialed in his Peter Tingle,
oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
He's like just jumping and weaving and everything. Like the only time he ever gets tagged by the drones is when like they come at him en masse and stuff, and he it's inevitable almost, but he does like a hella good job fighting them off.
Spidey runs out of web fluid and has to piece together a ball and chain and a shield from the debris. He manages to get to Beck, but there are enough drones for one more dark illusion, which irritated me. But this time, Peter Parker relies on his Tingle to take out the drones. And these drones are terrible shots.
It's like stormtroopers at that point.
Yeah. So it looks like Beck got hit by a stray bullet. Peter goes to check on him. And I was like, is this still part of the illusion? And it is. Peter's Tingle lets him know that Beck is there and about to shoot him. And then he disables Beck.
Right.
Grabs the gun and takes him down. Peter takes the Edith glasses back and disables all the drones.
Edith, turn off the drones!
Biometric scan complete. Welcome back, Peter. Shall I execute all cancellation protocols?
Do it! Execute them all!
Confirmed.
And then that comes back in a stinger.
Right.
That could easily be taken out of context, right?
Totally.
But for now, everyone is saved except for Beck, because I guess he really did get hit by a bullet because he's dead now.
Wait, he did get hit or he didn't?
I think he did. Because the Edith was like, you're in the line of fire, which he didn't really seem like he was, but I guess maybe a ricochet or something. But he dies, so Peter didn't shoot him, right? Then he must have gotten.
Then how did the footage later get uploaded? And
well, because everything was being recorded, and William Ginter Riva,
that was his whole
probably
plan.
Put it together. Yeah, I'm assuming that was Plan B.
Yeah.
MJ runs to Peter. Tom Holland is great at showing the character's emotions.
Yeah.
He's very clearly bothered by Beck's death. He starts to tell MJ about how he had this plan to give her the Black Dahlia necklace in Paris at the Eiffel Tower, and then she kisses him. And I swear to God, man, I almost cried. I was
Really?
like, what the fuck? Like, why? It's a really nice moment.
Yeah.
I don't remember getting that emotional when I saw it before. I was just like, what is going on? Like, I don't know if it's just my mental state or what.
Well, that was like super cute too, because she brought was it a mace? She was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
I came
yeah.
out here to help you.
Just in
Did you
case."
do all this?"
Yeah.
And he looked like he had just gotten wrecked and stuff, and he was all bloody and everything. Though I never understand why Spider-Man always has his mask off. Like, how do more people not have known he was Spider-Man?
Literally, my next comment is, Jesus Christ, Peter, put your mask on. Somebody's going to see.
Right.
Yeah, so he has his mask off for quite some time there. But that scene ends with Fury needing to speak with Peter Parker, and Happy says he'll call you.
Yeah.
Then we have the class, including Peter, all arriving back in the States in Newark, New Jersey, which is just an awful airport. Apologies if you live in Newark, New Jersey and love your airport. But why they're all in like Manhattan, right? Why didn't they fly into JFK or LaGuardia? I mean, Newark is also close, but it just seems like a weird airport choice.
I don't travel enough over there to even know this.
Me either. Maybe it's just easier to fly internationally from Newark. I don't know.
Could be cheaper. Maybe Shield wasn't picking up the tab on the flight home.
Yeah. Well, I guess if you just are trying to get home in a hurry too, you'll go to whatever airport is within reason.
Or because, they book their own flights to get home as soon as possible, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to fly into Hartford, Connecticut one time instead of Albany, New York. And that's like a 2-hour drive difference.
Ouch.
Yeah. That was the last time I flew home for Christmas. I say home like I still live there. The last time I flew back to my parents' place for Christmas. Where was I? Did I arrive in Newark?
Probably the Ned and Betty breaking up.
Yeah. They're very mature about it. They're like, we've decided to move on. Back at home, Peter Parker asks May and Happy if they're dating, and they don't seem to agree on the answer.
That's like me and my wife. Apparently, I was happy.
You guys aren't sure if you're married?
No. When we were first dating, I thought this whole time we were seeing each other.
Oh.
I was happy.
And then they show Peter as Spider-Man swinging about New York City. He picks up MJ and swings around with her for a bit. And then we get credits. Then we have the mid-credit stinger where J. Jonah Jameson, played by Just Kidding Simmons, out Spider-Man. I hate this. I hate this stinger. I love J.K. Simmons, but why? So they show like it's clearly a doctored clip. Well, clearly because we saw the movie,
right?
But there's a doctored clip of Peter saying, execute them all.
Yeah.
Like execute them all, and they're insinuating that he was trying to have the drones kill people, and that he killed Beck. And why would anybody have believed Beck anyway?
Yeah.
Or anything to do with him? Because I'm surely somebody has cell phone footage of that illusion falling apart.
Right. Especially, because everybody saw it in London, right? With the
I would have assumed. I would have assumed. So like dozens, if not hundreds of eyewitnesses, plus I'm sure somebody got that on a cell phone.
Yeah.
Probably Flash.
And like, who are they going to trust? Their friendly neighborhood Spider-Man who saved everybody over and over in New York, or like this random deep fake footage?
Well, I'm having like, think about what the news people trust now, though.
No, I mean, I think that explains it, right? Like
yeah. But what I really, really hate about it, most of all, is that now everybody knows that Spider-Man is Peter Parker.
Yeah.
And I just did not want that to happen. I don't really have a good reason for it. I did not like that at all. I hated that they tacked that out in the end.
Yeah.
And then they tried to do the what the fuck joke again, where Peter's like, what the and they cut it off the way Aunt May did. I can't reuse that joke. So
Aunt May did it in the last one, right? No, she did it in Endgame.
She did it. It was at the end of Homecoming when she discovers. Like, I don't even think it's a stinger. I think it's like the very last scene of the movie before you get to the credits. She walks in on him changing out of his Spidey suit. She's like, "What the?" And it cuts off there.
Right.
So anyways, that stinger kind of brought my rating down. There's an after credit stinger where Fury and Hill were Talos and his wife Soren the whole time.
Yeah.
And then they check in with Fury and give him the lowdown. And it turns out that Fury is on a space station with more Skrulls. I also hate this.
It doesn't make any sense to me why Fury would be on a space station.
Also, it's just totally not necessary. And it leads to Secret Invasion, which blows. So there was, no point in doing this.
What? It did?
Yeah. Talos doesn't imitate voices though, right?
He does.
Like he never onst did it. He does. Wait. I don't remember him doing it in Captain Marvel.
Well, I think he does in that he copied Ben Mendelsohn's Wait, so did he kill Nick Fury's boss and just take his place completely?
Or just tied him up maybe?
I guess what I don't get is like why isn't Talos in space helping find another planet? Like what's Nick Fury doing in space?
Yeah.
Like his area of expertise is Earth and things going on in Earth. Why would you trust an alien who probably knows more about space than you do, right?
Yeah, it makes no sense for them to switch places like that. Also, where was Hill the whole time?
Also in space? Well, yeah, she's not in space too.
Yeah, I don't know. So I don't know. It seemed really tacked on at the end, and so I started looking into it, and So what happened was they had finished the principal photography on this movie, and then the director John Watts saw Captain Marvel, and then he got the idea for this skull switchery thing, and then they shot more for it. They used there was like unused footage of Fury and Hill driving, right? And then they just used that and doctored it to and with some additional footage of Ben Mendelsohn and whoever plays his wife. I apologize for not knowing.
Yeah.
But I guess apparently Kevin Feige had to tell Colby Smulders and Samuel L. Jackson about that, before the movie came out. Like they had no idea that was going to be a part of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because they had shot this for another. They had shot that footage for another movie.
They hadn't what?
They had no idea that the car driving scene.
Yeah. Well, that car driving scene was shot for this movie.
Oh, okay.
But they hadn't used it. So I don't know. That was a bad move. So there's two bad stingers at the end of this, relatively okay movie that I have a few problems with. But man, that really bothered me. Both those.
Oh man.
So that brings us to changes.
Yeah.
I will go first, and I'll be brief.
Yeah.
Make the illusions a little less completely unrealistic, and drop the stingers. Those are my proposed changes.
I think those are. I don't think so. I don't think mine are different from yours. I think
Sorry, I stole them all.
The parts that really kept me going on this was just the Zendaya and Tom Holland interactions.
Yeah.
I just really like their acting and how believable that they were. Like these two awkward teenagers, like falling for each other.
I agree. So I guess that takes us to the ranking.
Yeah.
Do you want to go first here? Or?
No, you go first. I know
Okay.
where. I think I know where I am.
So I get a little bit of an Ant-Man 2 vibe from this movie. It's similarly after a huge Avengers movie.
Mm-hmm.
It is also not as good as the first, but here the first one was really great. But at least it didn't go to total shit with Ant-Man 2.
Yes. Ant-Man 2 is really hard to beat right now.
It's so bad.
I'm looking at that. I'm like, I don't think it's that
I'm still
bad.
traumatized. I'm still traumatized by rewatching it. So Mr. Harrington continues to be hilarious. Most of the characters are still great, actually. And like you said, the interactions between Peter and MJ, and Ned and Betty, like the kids, like all the main cast are really good. And
I love them.
They do save a lot of this movie for me.
They have a lot of man, I wish I had that crew in high school vibes.
Oh yeah. But a lot of the plot points are just too comic booky for me. So I had it. Did you have like some general comments you wanted, or should we get into the actual ranking?
We can go into the actual ranking.
All right. So I had it again in my own original ranking.
Yeah.
I had it below Avengers and Ant-Man and Captain Marvel. Now I'd say it's somewhere in the 15 to 18 range. 15 is Incredible Hulk, which I think it is definitely better than.
Wait, 15 is the Avengers, isn't it? Or this is your list?
No, this is our list. Hang on, let me see. 15 is the Avengers. How did I screw that up? So let's see. I'd say it's somewhere in the, see if I can do this on the fly. In the 16 to 19 range.
16 to 19. Okay.
All right, 16. So I'd say it's somewhere in the 16 to 19 range. 16 being Incredible Hulk, which I think it is definitely better than, but I still think you rank that way too high.
Oh, that's right. You don't like.
Yeah.
But is it
17,
better than Ant-Man to you?
17 is Ant-Man. I don't know. Maybe it's better. 18 is Doctor Strange. I'm also unsure on that. 19 is Iron Man 2, and it's definitely better than Iron Man 2 to me.
Yeah.
So I would say the floor is new number 19, and the ceiling is new number 16. Yeah.
I feel like that's exactly what my train of thought was. And
it's funny how we always,
as we were talking through this podcast, it went straight all the way through 16, 17. Like when I was making that sound, It was literally going 16, 17, 18, and then it stopped at like 19 for me.
All right, so you're saying new number 19.
Yes.
Okay.
where I said it was holding steady was I was staring at Iron Man 2, and I'm like, I don't feel like it's worse than Iron Man 2. But I also don't like it better than Doctor Strange.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I was thinking that I do think it's better than Ant-Man.
Mm-hmm.
So then really I would say it's the new number 16 because fuck the Incredible Hulk and fuck you. So I'm saying, but you're saying 19.
I think because
I'm saying it really is a grayscale for me. Oh, go ahead.
I'm saying it went down to 19. A lot of it was because of, I think, some of your reasoning of like its importance in the scale of the Marvel universe, in that it didn't do anything to the Marvel universe for me, except for the ending when it was like Peter Parker.
Yeah, which it sets up the third movie, which is, I think, better than this.
The third movie is easily better than this.
But I hate that that's in this movie. I feel like they could have set that up differently.
Yeah.
Or just not had that in this movie. I don't know.
Well, in the comic books, he tells everybody his identity as part of the Civil War storyline, where like you have to register, and he was like, I want to register because it's the right thing to do, and to show everybody how committed I am to that, he pulls off his mask and he goes, I'm Peter Parker. And then and so that whole thing sets up the making a deal with the devil in the comic books to make everybody forget he was Spider-Man.
Oh, I see.
Which I don't know. I mean, I don't know which I think I like this mechanism better, even though it's a little bit more awkward.
Yeah, I get it. It makes sense. All right. Anyways, I think I agree with you. I think it's number 19 because Ant-Man and Doctor Strange are both like the first movies.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot more originality there. So yeah, I agree. I think I'm just going to agree with you. That's number 19.
It didn't have a situation where it was like, hey, let's both shoot our laser beams at each other and create a random explosion.
Yes.
for no reason.
Yeah. All right. So that makes Spider-Man Far From Home the new number 19.
What I'm really curious about is how much both of us like the Quantum Mania.
Yes, it'll be interesting. Well, how much we dislike it.
How much we dislike it,
that means that Infinity Saga Trivia Pursuit Poker will just be for fun. Don't let me forget to go back to Major's email after this.
Okay.
Oh, I have it in the other notes too. Okay, good. I probably won't forget. Alrighty, so let's read some questions.
Bitch, please, you've been to space.
Some of them are on the tip of my brain, but I don't think I'm going to be able to come up with it, especially not under pressure. It's my turn to bid first.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with 2 because I think I know one of them, and I think I have several guesses that I might get a second one on.
I think mine's is 2. I'm going to go with 2.
Okay, well, you have to bid higher than me if you're going to.
Oh.
Either you give it to me, either you read the questions and I answer, or you bid higher than 2.
I'll read the questions and you answer.
All right. Because it doesn't matter. Okay, I am ready.
All right. Wait, actually, what's the answers?
Oh, yeah. That's important.
I was like, if I read it and you give me answer, I'm not going to have any clue if you're right or not.
Just Google them. Let's see. I think those are the right ones. Cool.
Did you just text it to me? There you go.
Yes. Sorry. I think I just sent.
Whenever you send it to me, it's upside down, so I have to.
I scan it upside down so that if I accidentally glance at it, I can't read it.
Yeah.
Easily. You know, I'm doing my best to not peek.
Yeah. Alrighty. Tony Stark's trip to Monaco was his first vacation in how many years?
I want to say 2, but I'm not sure.
That's dead on the money, man.
Oh. I mean,
Did you just guess that, or
it had to be an integer?
Well, yeah.
I thought it was either like 2 or like 17.
Yeah, that was like a lot or like not that much.
Yeah.
Okay. What precious cargo does director Nick Fury order Maria Hill to evacuate from the Tesseract? I would say testing facility.
Delicious Tesseract. I don't know. I presume this is the first.
The first Avengers.
Sorry, no, the Age of Ultron one, right? Oh no.
Yeah.
No, it would be first Avengers, wouldn't it? Oh, so what part should... Oh. You shouldn't have told me that, because now I think I know the answer. But it's not. Is it the Hulk or is Thor in it?
In Avenger?
The thing that she ejects, I guess evacuates. I don't know. I'll just say I don't know.
Oh. My guess was the guns that were powered by the Tesseract. But it's actually specifically called the Phase 2 technology.
Oh.
Remember what the stuff from Captain America?
Yeah.
They had hoarded?
I thought that maybe it was referring to when they eject the containment vessel.
Yeah.
That was for the Hulk, but it had Thor in it. I don't know. I wasn't thinking correctly.
All right.
Anyways.
You've got one so far. You just need to get one more right. What nickname does Tony Stark say is ridiculous for him as he doesn't paint?
I have no idea. I will guess a painter. I will say Monet.
Ooh.
I don't know why.
I was going to say like close, but like no, it's the Da Vinci of our time.
Oh.
My guess was actually the Da Vinci of death, but I was way off. I got the artist's name right, but not the thing. What item does Hela see as a fake in Odin's treasure vault?
This is the one I'm almost positive I knew. The gauntlet.
Yes. The Infinity Gauntlet. Yep. Oh, and the answer says Infinity Gauntlet with Infinity Gems. I don't
remember having the gems in it.
I don't remember the gems being in either. But that's what the card says.
I'm gonna rewatch that later and find out.
Either way, you got two already. What does King T'Challa plan to create with the buildings he buys in Oakland where his uncle died?
I don't know what it's called exactly, but it was like an outreach center for like underprivileged kids. I don't remember. And what's her name is supposed to head it up. I couldn't tell you what it was called though.
Shuri. His sister was supposed to head it up.
No, it was his love interest.
Yeah. Lupita.
Yeah, Nakia.
Yeah. It's you had one word right. The key word was outreach. It was the Wakandan International Outreach Center. So close enough. What about this? I feel like you should have gotten you should get this one, the last one. What SHIELD project synced 3 next generation helicarriers to a network of targeting satellites?
I should get that one, but I don't remember what it's called. It's like, if you gave me like 20 minutes to think about it, I would come up with it, but it's going to kill me when you tell me.
It's Project Insight.
Yes. Very good.
Okay.
All right, well, I got 2, right?
Yep.
So
I would have not gotten.
I win.
Even the one that I thought I was sure of, I didn't get. Or no, actually, I got the Infinity Gauntlet one.
I was like, you would have known the Gauntlet one.
Yeah, I didn't get the Da Vinci one right.
Okay. If you had said Da Vinci, I would have said that's good enough.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So,
anyways.
Good job, man. You got it.
Yeah, thanks. So that's it for Spider-Man Far From Home, and that's it for Phase 3.
God, the best phase.
Yeah. Next up for Series 1 is Black Widow from July 9th, 2021. We had a 2-year wait.
Did you
like COVID?
Do you remember liking Black Widow?
I do. I think hopefully it holds up. But
yeah, same here.
Speaking of long waits, we're holding off on Phase 4, so it's going to be a bit until we get to Black Widow, but not that long. It should be early 2025, probably the first or second episode in 2025.
Yeah, we are getting busy.
But we'll have some other...
We are getting busy with family stuff.
Yeah. Yes, but also like we're going to have other things in the meantime. So I'm still planning on having episodes out every 2 weeks. It's just we're going to have a Series 2 episode and a bonus in there. Actually, in reverse order. I don't want to say more than that. We do have an email brought to you by Carl's Jr. an email from Majors. He says that, George, you made a scoff at the 240p resolution when talking about an early webcam in the Captain Marvel episode. This is all Captain Marvel episode stuff, by the way. He says, most of my arcade machines run at 240p. It still looks good for retro games. And I agree. And in 2002, it was cool as hell for video conferencing at 15 frames per second.
Kind of amazing, right? The things we're used to now.
Yeah, I mean, if something drops below 30 frames per second, it's unwatchable garbage. And it's got to be at least 1080p. Majors also says, with all your science gripes, I wonder why you still watch comic book movies. Maybe it's because you're so invested in the universe. You look at things with a much closer eye. And I think I've mentioned this twice already, but that's the thing. I should not like these movies, but they're made a little bit more believable and they're good movies. So it's extra disappointing when they push the scientific reasoning too far or just make stuff up.
I'd argue that like the storytelling is so decent because I think both of us agree. Most of the DC movies are barely watchable outside of like Chris Nolan's Batman is really the best, one of the best Batmans.
But that's not even, So I'm thinking when I was thinking DCU, most of the DCU is pretty trash.
Yeah, I wonder why.
But yeah, the at least the first two Christopher Nolan Batman movies are really good.
Yeah.
I'll also cop to the science gripes being a bit performative. You know, it's a feature, not a bug. I'm a science guy. I'm going to talk about science.
Yeah.
There's something else. When you said maybe it's because I'm so invested, I look at things with a much closer eye, and that is definitely the case with doing it for the show. And I'm stopping all the time and taking notes, and I will find flaws that I had not seen before.
Yeah.
So Majors goes on. He says, you mentioned the Lightspeed Pegasus logo. I didn't see that in the thumbnail image for the podcast. Was that a missed opportunity, or was editing taking too long? So some things had to be cut. That's my bad. That is a totally missed opportunity. I should have put one in. Sometimes I'll put thumbnails in in various spots in the episode. And I usually call it out if I do. But yeah, my bad. I should have done that. Let's see. His email goes on. I will give you props for the Mr. Blonde drinking milkshake comparison picture. I even rewound to make sure to see it. I will take those props. That is one that I did put the thumbnail in for. And hopefully you saw the YouTube short on it too, Majors. If not, email me and I'll send you the link. George mentioned using pager codes, and I'm old enough to remember that. I only had a working pager near the end of the beeper phase, just before mobile phones took off. My first work phone was a Nextel with the push-to-talk like a walkie-talkie function, and those replaced pagers in our office. I would just like to thank Majors for not calling us stupid idiots for not knowing the pager codes like both of our wives did.
Right. Wait, so your wife did too?
Oh yeah, they're like, how would you not know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I didn't have a pager.
Yeah, mine listened to it on her commute home, and she was like, "You guys seriously had no clue?" I was like, she's like, "How do you not know where 143 came from?"
Well, I felt like that was the first time, like when you said that on the episode, I was like, 143, I'd never heard that before, but then it turns out that it was in a movie I'd seen before, like recently, and I just forgot about it. Anyways, there was a comment about a model airplane depicting an F-35 Raptor, though I think the Raptor was the F-22 in the movie, yet that plane was not publicly announced yet in the time frame of the movie. When I was assembling plastic models in the 80s, there were some kits that depicted dream planes, or rather what model kit designers thought a stealth fighter would look like. I remember buying 2 fantasy stealth planes, the USA and the Russian, because in the late 80s, we still had that rivalry. Just a possible explanation for the anachronism. So I know nothing about planes, as we discussed in the Captain Marvel episode, so I'm deferring to George on this.
Yeah. I don't know what. I don't know. I just kind of recognized the plane in the background as hey, I was like, it's a government agency. It probably has access to a lot of really cool tech. And so that's the only thing I can think of is that, hey, they had their hands on the Raptor earlier than expected. That's the only thing
I don't know. It sounds like you guys need your own podcast to talk about airplanes. And then lastly, he says, I know podcasting can be a thankless job, especially without making money with it. So I hope my little banter reminds you that the audience is listening and enjoying, even for the casual watcher of the Marvel movies like me. Well, Majors, it's no longer a thankless job now. Thank you for being thankful.
Yeah, thank you, Majors.
And if you want to email us, you can contact us at absolutelythebestpodcast@gmail.com. Join our Discord. There's a link in the show notes. We also have links in the show notes to our socials and a couple ways you can help support the show. The best thing you could do would be to leave us a review. Please help us spread the word. Tell your friends, tell a trick, and tell an illusion. Thank you for listening, and have a great day. Brought to you by Carlos Jr.
Bye-bye.
Absolutely the Best Podcast is a production of Audio Johnny, a subsidy of Corporation Johnny. Corporation Johnny. If it exists, we own it.
And this is Job, Michael's oldest brother.
So, this is the magic trick, huh?
Illusion, Michael. Trick is something a whore does for money.
Or candy.